Hello, welcome to another bonus episode of Hockey Inside Out. And this one comes from you, one of our viewers. It's Terry Arsenault. He asks, why is there not more conversation about the undisciplined penalties the Canadiens are taking right now? Rick, what's your thoughts about this?
Well, that word undisciplined penalty, I don't even know anymore, to tell you the truth, what's a penalty and what's not a penalty. Some of it is obviously very deserving and obvious when it comes to holding and slashing, but so many are called, and there's so many gray areas that I don't really get yet after so many games, and it's I don't know if the referees have been given rules on, or don't touch, don't allow any type of contact, but there's just too many inconsistency as far as what's a penalty and what isn't a penalty, and it's gone extreme, and it's really tough to watch, and I have a hard time with it.
Yeah, I don't know how well the game is being officiated, but I think a big reason why the Canadiens fans or Canadiens media isn't necessarily talking too much about the bad penalties or the undisciplined penalties is the Canadiens have been drawing a ton of penalties too. And sometimes around the league, there are teams that are very high event in penalties for and against. The Canadiens, I believe, are like third in penalties drawn and second in penalties taken. And there are teams that are really low event. The Penguins are among the bottom in power play opportunities and the bottom in penalties taken. The Bruins, for a very, very long time, it's like if you're playing Bruins hockey, you're not calling a lot of penalties. And we kind of saw that on Saturday night, right? There wasn't very many penalty calls in that game until the third period. So sometimes it's like the refs get in their mind, this kind of team plays this way, so we're going to call it looser or tighter. And that's just how it's kind of been for the Canadiens. There's been a lot of penalties on either side, a lot of special teams. Unfortunately for the Canadiens, special teams had been a bit of their weakness. So more even strength time probably would have resulted in a better record, but the special teams are starting to come along a little bit now. So it's just not something I don't think to worry about too much, more on an individual level for certain players to understand when is a good time to take a penalty and when isn't. You see, like Arbor Xhekaj, he still gets the reputation calls, but I don't see the indiscipline and the bad choices that I saw last year. He's been very cagey.
Yeah, and Josh Anderson leads the NHL in penalties drawn, which just shows you, like, apart from not being able to score, how well he's driving the net and drawing those kind of penalties. I think it was a bigger problem earlier in the season with some of the undisciplined penalties. We saw sort of little lazy poke checks that result in a trip in the offensive zone, the worst kind of penalties you can take 200 feet away from your own net. I don't think it's gotten better. I mean, I questioned a little while ago, I think, on the show about, like, I think Marty St. Louis needs to start cracking down on guys who are taking too many undisciplined penalties. Maybe they did talk about it. Maybe they had a meeting about it. It doesn't seem to be as much of a problem now. The bigger problem, though, is the NHL refereeing. I mean, the game against Calgary, when Brendan Gallagher gets called for tripping behind the opposing net, there's a referee standing 2 feet away from him who doesn't call it a penalty. And then the referee standing near center ice does call it a penalty. And Gallagher went berserk. I mean, rightly so, smashing his stick against the glass. It's just, and then, of course, you get the predictable, even it up penalty afterwards. Oh, we're going to, like, and after the game, we were talking with Gallagher and mentioned, you see in the NFL now, for people who watch a lot of NFL, you see a flag on the play, and then afterwards, you see the referees get together, they talk, and they say, no penalty on the play. They discuss it. So, like, why can't the NHL referees do that also in a situation like that? I mean, the referee out near center ice making the call when the guy right beside the plate doesn't call it, he's basically saying to the other guy, you're an idiot. How did you not call that? I'm going to call it. But how, like, there's got to be almost like, I think in the NBA and referees have different zones they cover or what. I think the NHL needs that. Like, how can a guy standing right beside the plate not call a penalty, and the guy standing out near center ice does call it a penalty? So you talk about undisciplined penalties. That's got to frustrate coaches. How do you discipline Brendan Gallagher for a tripping call when one referee didn't think it was a penalty and the other one did think it was? And the NHL, the refereeing just, there's nights to just shake your head, and it's just call the rules, and like if the guy, let the referee closest to the play call the penalty if it was or not, the guy with the better view. But that was, I mean, Brendan Gallagher, I imagine the NHL is going to fine him for his comments after the game, but good for him for speaking out about it because it's a problem. Gary Bettman keeps saying, "Oh, we have the best refereeing in the world." No, you don't. You might have the worst. And it takes more guys like Brendan Gallagher willing to speak up and pay the fine out of their pocket before anything might hopefully change, but I don't think it will.
Or even, Stu, it'd be great if they made the referees available after a game like this. Get their explanation. Tell us why you thought that call was legitimate, and it might help clear things up or even help keep these referees accountable because they know afterwards they're going to have to go out and face the media and see what they have to say.
Exactly, and they waste so much time now with video reviews. Like it seems every offside goal is, video review. Like it would take, I'd rather see the referees get together in a situation like that rather than a video. Just get together, discuss it. Why did I didn't think it was a penalty? Why did you do? I'm closer. That's not a penalty. And then they just say no penalty on the play, like what they do in the NFL.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll have to leave it there. And if you have a question for the panel that you'd like us to discuss in one of the bonus episodes, please leave it in the comments section below. Include your name as well, and we'll try and get to it. And of course, you could check out Hockey Inside Out to see our full episode or get your daily Habs coverage right there as well.